GERENetwork.com.
This is a GERE Network production.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, GERE Network presents the Football Talk Weekly Podcast with John Cimino and Brandon Gorell. And now, here's John.
Week 17 is here, ladies and gentlemen, on the Football Talk Weekly Podcast on the GERE Radio Network, the last one of 2016.
Finally, I was like 4 weeks early.
Yeah, 2 weeks, Brandon, but it's okay. We forgive you.
It's all right.
Time flies when you're having fun, I guess.
Yeah.
How's it going, everybody? My name is John Cimino at the JC Money on the Twitter, and joined by my side here, if I can speak, my eyesore, Mr. Brandon Gorell. Brandon, say hello.
Hello.
And as always, I'd like to let you know that the holiday season, it never ends, my friends. And thank you for using shopgear.com during this holiday season. But as you well know, Valentine's Day is approaching. Got to get your honey something. You want to get in good with the missus. Okay, go to shopgear.com. Got a bunch of things on there that you can get for your missus. You can get her something nice slippers, nice romantic candles or something. I don't know. Sensies.
Dildo.
No, not that. Maybe. Vajankle. I don't know.
Vajankles.
But seriously.
Oh, that's for you.
But seriously, if you don't want to get left out, if you don't get the gift, you don't get the hibbity-dibbity, hibbity-dibbity. You don't. So, Valentine's Day is coming up. ShopGear.com has you covered. All
also,
right.
night 3 of Hanukkah, so still got 5 more days to buy presents.
That's right. Do it. ShopGear.com. All right.
Cheer up, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. Before we begin, I want to give a special shout out to a good buddy of ours, Brett Carlson. He is, I would say he's a listener, but I'm making him one. I've made him one. I've told him you need to listen. You need to listen to this. So, Brett, you're listening. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being you. We love you.
Yeah, we love you, buddy.
And we'll give you a classic in 3, 2, 1. All right. Fair enough. All right. Let's begin. The Buffalo Bills, Brandon, in 3 weeks. This is the third week now. The first week, 2 weeks ago, it was Jeff Fisher.
Yep.
Last week, Gus Bradley. This week, Rex Ryan.
Yeah.
They did not wait until the end of the football season. Nope. They didn't fire him 2 weeks ago. They didn't fire him last. They waited till this week, and they fired Rex Ryan.
Yep.
Went 15-16 in 2 seasons as the HC of the BUF. His overall coaching record in 8 seasons, 61-66. Brandon, he was let go after the Dolphins game, in which they were competitive pretty much until the end, but
they should have won the game.
There were a couple of plays, specifically in overtime, the 4th and 2 punt, and having 10 men on the field on defense when Jay Ajayi broke a 53-yard run in overtime, that many people think was really the decide. It started it.
Sure, yeah.
But then
I'll buy that.
I think that by saying he was going to start Tyrod Taylor when ownership wanted him to sit because they don't want to pay the $35 million or whatever if he were to possibly get injured.
He's guaranteed that coin.
They thought that was the people are saying that's what they think was the final straw when he said, "I want to win, and I will be starting Tyrod instead of EJ."
Right. That's all fine and good. They gave him 2 years. To me, I really don't think that anybody can really turn down on a franchise in 2 years, unless you have a franchise quarterback. That's usually the start of being able to turn down a franchise.
Right.
But there's guys that are swimming and swimming and swimming, yet they're still employed. Rex didn't even get through full 2 seasons.
On a 5-year deal, nonetheless.
On a 5-year deal, nonetheless. They weren't the worst team out there.
No, it's not like he was Jim Tom Sula.
It's not like they're Chip Kelly going there and going 1-15 or Hugh Jackson. They knew he was going to struggle. They had no talent there.
Right.
They knew it was going to be a year where they got to rebuild. But I mean, they were close. Like Robert Woods said, they were close. They were close in the games that they lost. They lost on basically, they lost that Seattle game. Mm-hmm. They got hosed in that game.
Mm-hmm.
They lost this game because the kicker still, Dan Carpenter, I've seen him miss so many kicks, yet he's still employed.
He's no Martin Gramatica.
Right, he's not Mr. Automatic. So, yeah, you can put the onus on Rex and his defense, and players left his defense. Guys got hurt. Guys got suspended. It's not all the coach. The thing that bothers me the most is that he gets canned after 2 years, but that GM who's had a hand in picking the last 3 head coaches,
right?
He's now going to be picking the 3rd coach. And also handed out that big fat contract to Charles Clay, who has done
nothing up until last week.
Who keeps signing Percy Harvin.
Yeah.
Who signed Reggie Bush.
Yep.
Who didn't really get a good receiving corps, even though they knew they had an injury-prone Sammy Watkins. There was plenty of free agent receivers out there.
There was.
They let Jackson go. They let Williams go. Taylor, he did all right, but, you got that kicker still out there. Dan Carpenter, still kicking balls, even though he missed big kicks last year. He's missed big kicks this year, including the one that probably got Rex fired, because they would have won that game.
Yep.
He makes that field goal, the game's over.
Had they won that game,
they'd still be in playoff contention.
Exactly. They would be in a really good position at this point now.
No. Yes,
no? Yeah.
Actually they would, because they would need Miami to lose again. Yeah,
right.
I just thought of that.
Right,
so they would have needed Miami because Denver lost, which was part of the, they needed to have happen.
And Miami would have been playing the Patriots this week, which, And
the Patriots still hadn't locked up the number 1 seed because the Raiders are only 1 game behind them.
Right.
So they've got to play this week.
Right.
Again, little things. These are little things, yes. Bozo mistake, 10 guys on the field. It's not the head coach's job to count to make sure on every play that you have the right amount of players on the field. It's the coordinator. Wait, who's the defensive coordinator?
Well, it's not Rob Ryan anymore because he got fired too.
Yeah, he got fired too. But again, that was a bad mistake by Rex bringing him in. But honestly, I think Belichick said it best today. He's like, there's just way too much turnover. You don't give guys a long enough time. Even Belichick, before he got fired, when he was with the Browns, he was with them for 5 years. He
was.
They showed that list today where they showed you. I think you shared it.
Yeah, I shared it.
Where Belichick's the only coach, and then you've got like 17 other coaches from
it was. I think it wound up being it was Bill Belichick for New England, and then it was Al Groh, Herman Edwards, Eric Mangini, Rex Ryan, and Todd Bowles.
Yep.
For New York.
And
Miami then for Miami
and
everybody under the sun.
Saban.
Including
Philbin,
Todd Bowles.
Bowles. Yeah, they had a lot of guys.
And then Buffalo as well.
Buffalo, you had Chan Gailey.
It goes to the point, like I said, they need
Doug
at least
Marone.
3 years. They need at least 3 years. Malarkey, yes. Who's doing quite well in Tennessee right now.
Yeah, he got...
Imagine that.
Yeah, they blew it last week. Of course... Didn't help that their quarterback broke his leg either.
Right,
but.
Yeah. And the Raiders quarterback, David Carr, too. But
ouch.
Now here we go with the Bills again.
Yeah.
Once again, they're starting over.
Yep.
Where do they go from here? Right now, Anthony Lynn is going to be their interim head coach.
I don't know.
Everybody, overzealous Bill fans are talking about, hey, maybe we'll try and trade for Sean Payton and bring Sean Payton here. Or let's bring Coughlin in here. And the Coughlin one is the one that I think, while geographically for Coughlin, it makes sense because it's still in New York.
Right.
I don't know how, as a program, that would make sense. Maybe Ryan Wolfe can share some in there because Ryan Wolfe is my guest in the second segment today. Maybe he could share. He's got a finger. He's got a finger on the pulse of Buffalo sports with BLTD and everything. But sorry, Ryan,
Pizza Man.
But I mean, it's if you bring a guy who's 71 or 72 years old in Tom Coughlin, what's to say you're not going to be in this exact same position?
Right, exactly.
2 or 3 years from now.
Listen, the guys that they're talking about Tom Coughlin and bringing in Sean Payton on a trade. Okay, so outside the Super Bowl year, what has Sean Payton done besides get suspended for a year? They haven't done anything. They've had Drew Brees the whole time. He's been healthy.
That is why.
Played.
That is why.
and he's done nothing.
That is exactly why. Because they look at Sean Payton and they see Drew Brees putting up close to now possibly a fifth 5,000-yard season.
But I don't see Drew Brees walking through that door.
Exactly.
Drew Brees was putting up those numbers in San Diego, too. Mm-hmm. He was putting up those numbers before they brought in Sean Payton, too.
Right.
So that's not Sean Payton. You still got Tyrod Taylor or Cardale Jones. And then Tom Coughlin, I mean, Coughlin has a semi-elite quarterback, I guess. I don't know how to describe Eli Manning other than the fact that he won 2 Super Bowls. He drifted as a coach in New York. Mm-hmm. Pretty winnable division. I don't know. I don't think Tom Coughlin's the answer either. I think a strong coordinator, an offensive-minded coordinator.
Like Anthony Lynn?
Like Anthony Lynn would be a good one. He did do a really good job with that offense after they fired Pudgy Roman.
Him and LaShawn McCoy, and there was a SI article about it not too long ago, but him and LaShawn McCoy forged a pretty good bond, and McCoy has had one of his statistically best seasons this year. I mean, it's all for naught, as far as the Buffalo Bills as a team is concerned, but under Anthony Lynn, I think that is McCoy's a superstar in the league. That is a prime example of somebody buying into someone's leadership. Yeah. So if someone like LaShawn McCoy can succeed and thrive on something like Anthony Lynn, that's got to say something, I think, for the Mike Gillislees, who've also succeeded in that as well. Yeah. TD Mike. That's why they call him TD Mike.
Yep.
I think Anthony Lynn might be your guy.
I think they should go with him, and if they don't go with him, they need to find some young coordinator in the league. Not a rehash coordinator, not like a Norv Turner or, I don't know.
Josh McDaniel? He's being groomed for New England anyways.
Yeah, he's being groomed for New England. He's not going anywhere. Honestly, I think that Lynn would be their best bet, but this is the Buffalo Bills. You got Big Bucks Pagula, who thinks that, I got to chase championships. And I'm going to go chase former championship coach. I mean, look what he did. He grabbed Dan Bilesma in Buffalo. And I kept hearing, tank. It's the tank. We got a tank for Eichel. And then, tank before that. And then they got, not Ristolainen. God, what the heck is his name? I don't remember his name now. It's they've got so many young guys that they've drafted. But yet the results have not changed.
Right.
They're still hovering around last place. Again, and that guy's still got a job. So Pagula's track record as, a guy that turns the ship around is not very strong because the Sabres have stunk since he bought them. They haven't done anything since he bought them. And now the Bills stink, 2 years
Let me just interrupt you for a quick second because I know she's going to be listening. Dawn, I hate your guts right now. Okay, proceed.
Send you a new Toasty.
Not of her.
Oh, God.
I'm blind right now. I'm blind. I can't read my show notes.
Over. I got it.
God damn it. Jesus Christ.
Oh, Mom's mad. Anyways, I think the Buffalo's going to blow it, and they're going to go and chase a big-name coach that used to coach and try to win that way. And then they'll open the purse strings and buy a bunch of free agents that won't amount to, jack squat. And they'll be mired in mediocrity some more. And Bills fans will still keep jumping off of RVs through tables and setting each other on fire and dousing each other with condiments.
But they won't be throwing dillies at
no, they won't be doing that. They've drinking
made sure
shots out of underage girls' ass cracks and... Yeah,
but the dilly, no thank you.
The dilly,
that is banned.
Not do that. No dillies.
Still the greatest season highlight, I think, this year. All right, the AFC playoffs, Brandon, they are officially set in stone.
They are.
They are locked down. The 6 teams that are in the playoffs are the New England Patriots, the Oakland Raiders, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Houston Texans, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Miami Dolphins.
Texans. What a mess.
Now, Week 17, we can see a switch between Oakland and Kansas City.
We could.
Other than that, I ask you this.
Can we see a switch between Oakland and New England, too? They would have the same record.
I don't know. I'll have to research
Oakland
that.
has a better win percent, a strength of victory.
They do. If they finish with the same record, then yes, I believe so.
I think that was the scenario. I could be wrong, but I know that the Patriots needed to play players this week.
But so really, but I'll ask you this: given the fact that Oakland is now going to be starting Matt McGloin because David Carr,
McGloin?
yes, David Carr, McGloin, whatever.
McGlow in the dark.
So they're starting that guy whose name I can't pronounce because of Carr's injury. Is the playoffs officially going to be a cakewalk for the New England Patriots? Or do you think that of the other teams in there, the other 5 teams in there, is there a surprise sleeper in that mix?
No. And by the way, Oakland and Kansas City can't trade places.
Oh, they can't anymore?
No, it shows that they're the AFC West champs.
Okay.
So they can't go anywhere.
So then disregard that.
Kansas City and Miami, it doesn't show any tiebreaker percentages, but it's got Kansas City obviously with a better record. Probably would win on a strength of schedule and strength of victory over Miami. Mm-hmm. Even if they lost and both finished at 11-5. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Oakland, I don't see how Oakland wouldn't. I mean, I see the asterisk next to New England, but I don't know how they figured that out. So
okay,
I think New England's wrapped up that position. So I think the only positions that may be able to change is the 5 and 6, but that's not even sure either. So,
all right.
Anyways,
of the other teams in there, do you think that there's a surprise sleeper in there that could give New England trouble, or do you think this is an easy cakewalk for New England to march
Chiefs
right to
could
the
give
Super Bowl?
them trouble. I think the Chiefs absolutely could give them trouble if Justin Houston's playing. And then get some pressure on Brady.
What about the Steelers?
Steelers.
They were my AFC Super Bowl pick.
Their offense has been inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
If they didn't rally, I mean, talk about could have been the biggest bonehead move of the year. At the end of that game on Thanksgiving night, where they had no timeouts left and like 10 seconds to go, they throw that pass down to Antonio Brown and he gets stood up at the goal line. If he doesn't reach over and he's tackled, they can't stop the clock and that game's over. They lost by a field goal.
Right.
Instead of kicking the tying field goal with 9 seconds left, they went for the win and got the win because Brown, reached over the goal line. But they could have very well lost that game, and they could have lost the division on that play.
Right.
Instead, the Ravens are out.
Right.
So I don't know if I trust them.
So you're saying of the teams
they
now,
always have trouble with New England too.
Who does? Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh does.
Okay.
So I don't know. I think that Kansas City probably presents the toughest challenge.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
No, I wouldn't either. I'd like to see Alex Smith get.
I think that would be a nice different sight to see. But
it would really hurt the people in Philadelphia.
Yes, it would, and San Francisco.
They've stunk.
And San Francisco, for that matter.
Ever since he left. And
Alex Smith versus Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, well, sorry, Alex.
Well, I mean,
it'd be all over.
It would be all over. But imagine the storyline for that one.
Yeah,
first quarterback taken in the 2005 draft, and
it would be so annoying.
The mothership will
show the video of Rodgers just sitting there pissed, grinding his teeth, like someone better pick me because I'm going to murder somebody when I get in there.
God, I wanted the Jets to pick him so bad that year too.
I know.
I was
a
so
lot of teams in retrospect they wish their guys would have drafted him.
It was like who did they pick that year? I think the Jets picked oh god.
Someone who no longer plays there.
Why is his name escaping me now?
I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
Doesn't matter.
It wasn't Aaron Rodgers, and that pissed me off.
Which is why you're still the Jets.
I can remember that day too. I was at a wrestling show, and I was performing at, and it was pre-show, and they had the drafts at the bar there.
Well,
so
I know you were texting me.
A bunch of us were kind of at the bar, waiting before the crowd got in and whatever, and we were watching, and we got to the Jets pick, and I'm like, all right, that's it. We're drafting Rodgers. Come on, draft Rodgers. And they drafted, I don't remember who the hell they drafted that year. But I'm like, what?
I'm calling it up.
I'm like, what? No. Rodgers is sitting right there. They picked Alex Smith before him. and then it was going down, and it was going down, it was going down, and then when Green Bay picked him up, I'm like, okay, that's kind of
they got Favre, so that doesn't make any sense.
Kind of random, but all right. At the very least, if it's not my team, at least it's Brandon's, and they're not in my division, so I don't really care then. But still, all this time later, I'm like, that one guy could have been a difference maker, or he could have been a bust because the Jets are the Jets. But
yeah, I don't see. You know what? We might just want to go back and edit that whole segment because the Jets didn't have a chance to draft him.
Did they not? Maybe I'm thinking of another draft.
No.
You know what it is? Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I am thinking of the 06 draft.
Jets'
with
first
the Jets.
draft pick was in the second round, pick number 47.
Okay, so then they couldn't have.
With the 47 selection,
Jesus.
The New York Jets select Mike Nugent, kicker. Second round, first draft pick.
God.
Oh, Jets.
Yeah.
Womp, womp.
I think that situation I might be thinking of is now that
Maybe thinking of the Cleveland Browns.
I think the 06 one, the 06
Chicago
draft
Bears
or
could
something.
have drafted him. They picked Cedric Benson.
It could have been Cedric Benson, former Jet.
Tennessee picked Pac-Man. The Vikings picked Troy Williamson.
Oh, okay.
The Redskins needed a quarterback. They grabbed Carlos Rogers. Detroit Lions also needed a quarterback.
Yes.
They drafted Mike Williams,
Oh,
UFC wide receiver.
all right.
Dallas grabbed Marcus Ware, which they were fine.
All right.
San Diego, Sean Merriman.
Yeah.
It's amazing these names.
Yeah.
They're out of the league now that were like dominant players for
Yeah.
a little while.
Yeah.
Merriman was nasty.
Yeah, he was.
New Orleans grabbed Jamal Brown. They didn't need a quarterback. Carolina grabbed Thomas Davis. That was a good draft pick by them. Kansas City grabbed Derek Johnson, linebacker. Good draft pick. Houston Texans definitely could have used a quarterback. Grabbed Travis Johnson, defensive tackle, Florida State. Cincinnati Bengals at the time needed one. Didn't have Dalton yet.
Nope. Dalton was, I think.
Selected David Pollock.
Dalton was in high
Vikings
school.
selected again and picked Erasmus James.
Oh.
St. Louis Rams also probably needed a quarterback. Also drafted an offensive tackle. Dallas Cowboys drafted again. Didn't need a quarterback. Don't care. Jacksonville Jaguars. Definitely could have used a quarterback.
Always needed a quarterback.
Matt Jones.
Okay.
Out of the league after coking it up.
Where's Buffalo?
Buffalo didn't pick that first round either.
Oh.
Buffalo picked the next round.
Okay.
And Buffalo's first pick, was it as embarrassing as the New York Jets' first pick?
Let's see.
I don't think so. Maybe.
The suspense is killing me.
Oh, they're way down there.
Oh, no.
Oh, Roscoe Parrish.
Oh, all right.
Pick number 55.
Oh, Roscoe. All right. We're going
Trip
to...
down memory lane for you guys.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Now that you're asleep.
Yes, quick hits here. Doug Martin, running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, suspended 4 games for violating the drug policy. Instead of appealing it, he is actually going to own it up,
He
and
got benched, too.
and head into rehab. So hopefully, whatever the drug is, that is.
Well, they said it was a PED.
Oh,
So I don't know if it's the hippie. I don't think it's the hippie lettuce.
no. All right. Well, I'll look into that when I remember.
It's not the Bolivian market powder.
This is a true chicken scratch show.
It's not smack.
I wrote this show in seriously 6 minutes because I was so busy today.
Yeah, we have other issues to attend to.
Yes. The Dolphins extend veteran tackle Sam Young through the 2017 season.
Who?
It is Sam Young, drafted in
Sam
the
Young.
2005 draft, maybe. I don't know.
I'm young.
Season. It's a 1 year, $1.5 million deal. $325,000 of it is guaranteed. Good on him. And the Jets plan to retain... Here you go, Jets fans that are saying, you should fire Todd Bowles. Shut up. They
Not
plan to
going
retain him. Todd Bowles signed a 3-year contract before last season. He is currently 14-17 in 2 seasons as the HC of the NYJ. Next year truly will be a make-or-break year.
Who have a
For Mr. Bowles.
TERRIBLE team.
Oh, they give new meaning to the word terrible there. So, yeah, they're pretty awful. What do you think? Who do you think's going to win? Them or the Bills this week? Who wants it less?
That's a tough one. I think the Jets might, just because Fitz will get Fitzmagic-y, and he'll have a game of his life like a Matt Flynn will, and then he'll get a contract somewhere else for some money.
Yep.
And then he'll totally suck it up.
There you go. All right.
The Bills aren't starting Tyrod Taylor, and they're probably not going to start a lot of guys.
Probably not. All right, the power rankings are as follows. Up 2 spots to the number 10 is the Miami Dolphins. Down 3 spots to the number 9 spot is the New York Football Giants. Brandon, making the biggest jump of the week of all of the teams, up 8 spots to the number 8, your Green Bay Football Packers.
That's great. But remember last week when I said, why aren't the Packers in that list?
They heard
had
you.
Jumped from 16. They were 16th last week?
They were 16. They listen.
You mean to tell me there's 15 better teams than them? Get the F out of here.
Number 7, Seattle.
12 playoff teams.
The 16, the Oakland Raiders. You son of a bitch, I have to censor you now. God damn it, Brandon. Number 5, Kansas City. Number 4, up 3 spots, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Up 2 spots to the number 3. Those dirty birds, Brandon, they did not let me down this year.
No, they will in the playoffs. But
bandwagoning.
Do it every year.
Number 2, the Dallas Football Cowboys. And number 1, the New England Patriots.
Yep.
I don't see those 2 spots switching anytime soon. No. I was going to go do the scores for Week 16, but let's be perfectly honest with you. We're running long in the first segment. We have Ryan Wolfe coming up next from BLTD Sports to talk a little more Buffalo Bills for you Bills locals. And then Brandon and I will be back with GERE Network Pickup, the NFC Playoff Pictures, and more.
Oh, can't wait to talk that NFC Playoff Picture.
Oh, I bet you can't. Big change could happen there. But we'll get into that in segment 3, or the third period, if you will. But stick around. Better line than that is Ryan Wolfe. Joins me on the hotline next. You know, I'm often asked about the logos of the show and GERE Network and everything. It comes to me, JC, where do you get the designs, the cool designs for the show and everything? And I want to tell you, I'm going to tell everybody right now, right here, you heard it here, it is IndyCard Media. IndyCard Media is a local business that specializes in making quality designs for your website or your business. Whatever you do, they can do it. If you need proof, you can look at all of our logos, or you can go to facebook.com/IndyCardMedia to see all of the designs, which include a political banner, because they've done political banners and everything. Nothing is off limits with them. Give Eric a shout at IndyCardMafia@gmail.com, and he will help you bring your design to life. Tell him GERE Network sent you, and hey, he may hook you up with a little something, or at least a smile, because you heard it here. But go to IndyCard Media at Facebook. Again, facebook.com/IndyCard Media. Do it now. Bring your designs to life. All right, everybody, welcome back. And as promised, joining us here on the Football Talk Weekly Podcast is the man, the myth, the legend himself, the VP of GERE Network, the CEO of BLTD Sports and now Entertainment, really, with some of the other things that he's got posted on the site. It's not just sports anymore, but we can get into that a little bit later. Mr. Ryan Wolfe joins us here on the Football Talk Weekly Podcast for the first time ever. Mr. Ryan Wolfe, how's it going, my man?
It's going well. It's been a banner day, as you know,
yes,
for the Buffalo Bills, for the National Football League, as we saw that the hammer finally fell on one Rex Ryan and his brother Rob Ryan. So,
right. You know, I've been and it's funny because typically, and I don't know why this is, because I'm a Jets fan, unfortunately, and you happen to be a Bills fan. But whenever any sort of big news comes out from the Buffalo Bills, whether it was Rex Ryan being hired, Freddie Jackson being released, or now Rex Ryan being fired, you and I seem to have a habit of getting together to discuss these types of things.
Well, and I certainly think it has something to do with the fact that, first off, you're very easily accessible. No shots at my now part-time co-host, Mr. Perez, who he's a very difficult man to get a hold of, no doubt about it. He will not be afraid to admit that.
He's very, very, very busy.
But here's the thing. It just seems like, for me, I know that at the end of the day, no matter how much of a Jets fan you are, you're born and raised in Western New York. You've seen the good, you've seen the bad, and you've certainly seen the ugly. So you know,
yeah. Oh yeah,
you know where it rates.
Oh yeah, I was here for the high, and it's funny is I talked to a lot of today's Bills fans, and I say today's Bills fans, and it puts it in perspective because there's a lot of fans today that do not know of the Bills being in the playoffs. And I can go back to, third grade, fourth, fifth grade, remembering the run, of Super Bowl, playoff appearances, Super Bowls. I mean, just domination from this team and how this area was back then. Brandon and I spoke about it early on in the season here, and it was a fun place to be. And there's an entire now official generation of fans that either just don't know or have known the mediocrity that the Buffalo Bills have provided on the field. It's like they are the biggest tease in the NFL, I think.
I mean, with the past week, it was very difficult because the Buffalo Bills had the Miami Dolphins exactly where they wanted them. But the entire game was almost like a microcosm of Rex Ryan's entire tenure with the Buffalo Bills. I mean, when he came in, he didn't have a great team. The Bills weren't ready to make the jump from contender, playoff contender to Super Bowl favorite. I mean, they were coming from being a perennial loser to a potential playoff contender. And Rex Ryan came in and, he said that we're going to be a bully on defense. We're going to be tough to beat, hard to play against, whatever it may be. And that's just never materialized. I mean, offensively, they seem to have found something with Tyrod Taylor. I'm not sure what that something is still. To this day, I don't have any idea really what. Is Tyrod Taylor going to be a full-time National Football League starting quarterback? Is he going to be better off as a backup or as a situational guy? I don't know. We're still trying to figure that out. As are the Buffalo Bills, as was Rex Ryan until today. But I mean, they've got good pieces. They've got good defensive players. They've got LaShawn McCoy. They've got Sammy Watkins when healthy. But it just doesn't seem like Rex Ryan was ever able to put it together. And that really was what led to his downfall. But going back to the Dolphins game, for those who watch it, those who didn't watch it, I'm sure you've all heard about it, or as I said, you experienced it in live and in living color. The play of the game was 4th and 2 in overtime.
Oh, yeah.
And Rex Ryan decided to punt. Now, mind you, at that point, we knew the Buffalo Bills needed to win in order to make the playoffs. To even attempt to make the playoffs. Now, as we know now, if the Bills had won, they would have been in an almost golden position to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But hindsight being 2020, that play there, and then Rex Ryan after the game saying that 4th and 2 was too long of a risk. But mind you, they didn't make it, and then they come out, and then Jay Ajayi gets a 57-yard run. Bills have 10 men on the field.
Right, I mean, and that's what I was going to.
The entire game.
I was going to throw that out there too. Yeah, absolutely, and it's very indicative of Rex Ryan's entire body of work as a coach, and it's funny because 2 years ago we talked about this when the Bills hired Rex Ryan, and I said to you, I've got 6 years of this guy being the head coach here, and he can hype up a crowd. He can hype up. In wrestling terms, Ryan, he could work the crowd and he could work the boys like nobody's business. He, for all intents and purposes, is the proverbial Paul Heyman of the National Football League, where he can really psych you up, but much like at the end of ECW, it let you down. Kind of the same thing here with that, and I hate to tie wrestling into everything here, but let's just go over a few things here. Ryan, 15-16 in 2 seasons as the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. He's got a 61-66 record overall. I'm going to ask you this, Ryan. Was this, in fact, the right move? It's a two-parter here. Should they have given him, at the very least, what I believe is the appropriate amount of time for a head coach in the National Football League to really get the ball rolling or to fully be evaluated? Should they have at least given Rex Ryan 3 years, or were the Pegulas right in letting him go now?
Well, first off, to go off your first point that you were just making, I saw on Twitter earlier today, Sal Capaccio, WGR 550, made a great point, and I don't have the exact quote. I wasn't able to find it, but essentially it was that Rex Ryan was in love with the glitz and the glamour of being a head coach when it came down to, at the end of the day, he never just wanted to actually be a football coach. And that stuck with me. Because you see Rex will go out and he'll be a smart ass and he'll joke around and be the face of the franchise and take a tough loss to the chin, be the first one to celebrate a big victory. When it actually comes down to the X's and O's that separate the contenders from the pretenders, it doesn't seem like he is either willing to or able to do that. And it's almost as if this might be the last time we see Rex Ryan as a head coach, as a coach ever. Because he did say, Buffalo's my last stop. I don't want to be a coordinator anymore.
Right.
I want to be a head coach.
Right.
So maybe we see Rex Ryan on TV. I would assume we will.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw my preseason prediction out there is that Rex Ryan will probably be on the worldwide leader.
I would. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. But going back to what you said about Rex Ryan getting the proper time here, I think if the Buffalo Bills defense was as strong as it was when Jim Schwartz was the defensive coordinator, if the Buffalo Bills were winning games defensively and struggling offensively, I could certainly see the Buffalo Bills giving Rex Ryan another year or so, essentially let him tinker a little more with the franchise. But I think because Rex Ryan's defense, his calling card, wasn't good enough, and it never was good enough. There were too many breakdowns, too many games where they just looked completely lost defensively, and naturally because Rex Ryan was let go, we hear that players are coming out and saying his schemes are too complex. He liked to game plan specifically for teams, not let's not have a defensive identity, but every game let's have our identity be different, stuff like that. And you're going to hear that, and it's a bit twofold. It's you're a professional, you should be able to adapt and adjust, but then again, you have to coach to your players' strengths, maximize the strengths, minimize the weaknesses, because if not, you've seen how Stephon Gilmore has looked. I mean, he's one of the best in the National Football League when it comes to interceptions. I think he has 5 interceptions at this point. Right. But he appears to have regressed in Rex Ryan's system because it's not. It doesn't play to his strengths. It plays to his weaknesses. Right. So I certainly think that Rex Ryan did not do himself any favors when it came to staying employed. But certainly you can make the argument for him sticking around. But then again, if he's not the guy, he's not the guy. And it seems like they made the decision pretty quickly that we want to stick with Doug Whaley, as they said, as the Bills said, Whaley is going to head the coaching search, which is understandable. A little crazy because, when it comes down to it, it's not the head coach or the general manager that are the problem. It starts from the top down. Mm-hmm. When Terry and Kim Pagula took over the Buffalo Bills, and Kim Pagula took over the Buffalo Bills because she legally is the main the leader of the team, essentially. I can't remember her official title, but Terry Pagula owns the Bills, or the Sabres, she owns the Bills. Mm-hmm. When they came in to own the team, a lot of the people who have stuck around through Ralph Wilson in those toxic years are still with the Buffalo Bills organization. Mm-hmm. And at some point in time, you're going to keep changing head coaches. You're going to keep changing coordinators. You're going to keep changing general managers. You're going to keep changing quarterbacks in defensive players and offensive players, and you're going to keep getting the same result.
Right, exactly, and that's the point that
organizational message.
That's the point. That's the exact point that I've been trying to make to anybody that's a Bills fan that just talks to me about it and wonders why. And every time that I say right now with as frequent of the changes that have been happening here. I mean, you look at a team like New England, who has had one head coach for the past 20 years. And the Buffalo Bills have had three head coaches, if you include Anthony Lynn being the interim head coach now, in 4 years. I mean, that's Cleveland Brown territory, don't you think?
I would agree, yeah. I mean, it just seems like every time they take a step forward, they take 3 steps back. I mean, the Buffalo Bills have made progress, but not enough progress to show that Rex Ryan needs to stick around. Okay. And bringing in his brother was a very ballsy move. You got to give him credit for it, but it didn't pan out.
Oh, I thought it was a dumb move.
I mean, it was ballsy because if it either was going to work out and be spectacular or be spectacularly dumb. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't say it wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't the worst. Looking back on it, but I mean, a lot of people are calling for Russ Brandon to be fired. And I kind of wanted to mention this really quick, but a lot of people are calling for him to be fired. At this point, Russ Brandon is the president of the Sabres, the president of the Bills. Somehow the guy has done a terrible job, and everything he has done, but still seems to work his way up. I mean, at one point he was the general manager of the Bills, was absolutely terrible.
Yeah, horrible.
Somehow continues to just move up. Now those are the kind of people that fans want to see heads roll, because you want to get rid of the message that, this isn't acceptable. We don't want to be losing. We don't want to have. It doesn't matter, if it's behind the scenes or if it's on the field. You want to set a winning way from the top down. Mm-hmm. And Vic Carucci today, the Buffalo on Wednesday or Tuesday, the Buffalo News reported it all starts with the toxic environment at One Bills Drive. It's not the first time we've heard this.
No, it's definitely not.
Continuing theme, and something's got to happen, because it's again, you see during the season when something happens in Buffalo, there are more leaks than the Titanic. Mm-hmm. When you see a winning organization, doesn't even need to be New England, because New England is class above everybody else when it comes to everything football.
Okay. Let's talk. Green Bay.
You even look at decent winning franchises.
Look at Green Bay. I mean, they've had McCarthy there for 10 plus years as well.
Yeah, and you hear stuff leak out, and you don't hear stuff leak out there very often. I mean, you've heard some stuff this season that people were upset, and that's because they've had one hell of a year in Green Bay. But guess what? Winning solves everything. Green Bay is set to run the table, go from 4-6 to 10-6, and win the division, and host a home playoff game. Yeah. After people were calling for the team to get rid of Aaron Rodgers, fire Mike McCarthy. So you see that winning changes everything.
Right, exactly.
And at some point in time in the Buffalo Bills organization, you need to start top down and just reset and just figure things out. And maybe Anthony Lynn is the guy you want. But from what I was seeing, just reading around, just checking some sources on Twitter, doesn't look to be the case. It's either, the people that speak to the Pagulas or that are friendly with the Pagulas spoke to, I believe it was someone from Fox Sports or something like that, and said that the top candidates right now are Terrell Austin, which is the defensive coordinator of the Lions, or Tom Coughlin, with Anthony Lynn as the offensive coordinator. I
think that Tom Coughlin, I would say right now, and you certainly have your, BLTD especially and entirely have your finger on the pulse of the Buffalo sports people out there, so you would know this better than anybody. And I'm going to get to that point there with Tom Coughlin being there, possibly being one of the names there. I know geographically for him it makes sense. He doesn't necessarily want to relocate his whole family down south unless Jacksonville blows him away with an offer. So you bring Coughlin into the Bills. The man is 72 years old. Are you not worried that you would be in this exact same position 2 or 3 years from now?
You'd probably bring Tom Coughlin in and groom Anthony Lynn to be the future head coach. That's what I'm assuming.
So similar to basically what the Giants did with Ben McAdoo.
What the Patriots are doing with Josh McDaniels? Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Now being that you have
a guy you have a guy you want. You say, look, we're gonna we'll be offense coordinator, assistant head coach, something like that, and then it's your team. But I don't even know if that's the right decision, because again, at this point in time, I think if anything, and we're kind of getting off. I know we're kind of bouncing around everywhere, so I do apologize for those listeners.
We always do.
But there's so much going. Everything is so fluid. But right now, my opinion, more important than who's the head coach, who's the football czar, if they have a football czar, who's offensive coordinator, the Buffalo Bills need to bring in a strong defensive coordinator who can set up a very, very simple, very strong defense that the players can get with, that highlights the strengths, minimizes the weaknesses. Because we know that if the Buffalo Bills can have a top 10 defense, I mean, LaShawn McCoy just had one of the best years of his career.
And that actually, and that's another quick thing, and then we're going to wrap this up real quick. But we're going to have to get together and talk a little more about this, whether it's on your podcast or mine again. But Anthony Lynn, now he was originally, when the season began, he was the running backs coach, and then he was promoted to the OC when what's his face, Greg Roman was fired. Now, one of the big pieces and one of the big things that could help Anthony Lynn's case is the fact that he and LeSean McCoy have forged an incredible bond over their time there. And you look at how LeSean McCoy has performed this year. Kind of unfortunate for Bills fans that it all goes for naught, but in the same, the dude was an absolute stud, and a lot of that has to do with the leadership provided by Anthony Lynn. So I'll ask you this, Anthony Lynn's proverbial audition for a head coaching role comes on Sunday against the Jets. Should be a very easy one for him, but then again, Buffalo's going to Buffalo, as we all know. Do you think that Anthony Lynn really could be the guy just based off of how LeSean McCoy progressed this season?
I think at this point in time, the Buffalo Bills have a very good idea of who they want to be the next head coach of the franchise.
Okay.
I mean, the reason we heard most of the past week or so, 2 weeks at this point, that the Buffalo Bills were more than willing to make Anthony Lynn the interim head coach if Rex Ryan gets fired, so essentially they don't lose him. Mm-hmm. Because they feel that highly about him. I mean, that's why they were cool with get rid of Greg Roman, because he wasn't living up to the hype from the start. And after the Buffalo Bills go out in total 589 yards against, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's Miami or not. Miami's in the playoffs.
Right.
You go for 589 yards against a playoff team, and what are you doing? So that's he's certainly, and I mean, after the Bills started off 0-2, he comes in and they win 4 straight games, mm-hmm. and the offense is doing great. So I mean, I certainly think that they feel pretty highly about Anthony Lynn, and he's got a very good shot of being the next head coach of the Buffalo Bills. Because at this point, you got to remember too, it's no longer going out and getting Rex Ryan, getting the big name, the guy who you can pay $5, $6, $7 million a season. It's going out and getting the guy who you feel is the best fit to run this organization, to run on the field,
exactly.
The organization.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I don't know if Tyrod Taylor is going to be the quarterback next year, but you got to think of it this way: who else would be the quarterback next year? I mean, I know Doug Whaley's high on EJ Manuel. They benched Tyrod Taylor for the final game because they don't want him to get hurt. Mm-hmm. They don't almost $31 million in severance pay if he gets hurt. Mm-hmm. And they cut him. But I mean, I would hope that Whaley doesn't want to stick with EJ Manuel. But, crazier things have happened. But at this point in time, you got to think to yourself, you've got Sammy Watkins. You go out and get another wide receiver because you're probably going to lose Robert Woods. Mm-hmm. Charles Clay showed up finally. They finally remember how to use Charles Clay at the end of the season, so that's positive.
Yeah.
You've got something with Mike Gillislee. So everything looks to be trending in the right direction offensively. So you know what? Maybe keeping Anthony Lynn as the head coach, bringing an offensive coordinator who maybe has some head coaching experience in the past. So if he has any trouble with the head coaching, you've got a guy who can kind of mentor him. Mm-hmm. Plus, if worst case scenario, you got to fire him. You got a guy there who can coach. But we're not going to go Jacksonville on this one yet. They haven't even hired a guy yet.
Not yet. Let's.
When they hired Doug Marrone to be the assistant head coach, and we're like, okay, so you're the interim head coach when they fire Gus Bradley. But anyways,
I'll get old Doug Marrone, Bills fans.
You got to find something. You can't continue to keep changing. You want continuity somewhere. If you want continuity, keep it offensively, because the offense, when they were firing on all cylinders, they weren't half bad. I mean, Tyrod Taylor, it appears when he's used properly, he can be halfway decent. He's not going to beat Tom Brady. He's not going to even be. He'll be probably middle of the road. 12 to 15. Mm-hmm. If he can be a top 12 to 15 quarterback, and you can have LeSean McCoy being a top 5 running back, and the defense can be top 10, they can win 9 or 10 games and make it playoffs.
I'd take Tyrod on my team.
Exactly. I mean, because again, you got to think about it too. The one thing I saw on Twitter was that, got to remember, the cap goes up next year. So while Tyrod Taylor's going to have a high cap hit, because of inflation, his cap hit's only going to be around $11 million. Like, obviously, if you think about it, the cap hit's still going to be the same, but in hindsight, looking at it, it's not as bad as it seems.
All right.
They signed him to a big deal when the cap was lower. The cap goes up. Obviously, it's essentially less money. But you can pick that apart however you want it to. But I think at this point, you've got the bones, because you're not going to go out and draft a quarterback in the first round. The Bills have too many needs to go out and do that. And there's not really a top. There's Mitch Trubisky, I believe is his name, from North Carolina, which I've seen him going anywhere from the first pick to the 30th pick. Top 30.
Yep.
Wherever it may be, he's There's not an Andrew Luck in the draft.
No, there's not. There's Mitch Trubisky is a name that I hear. Deshaun Kaiser, Deshaun Watson, and that's really about it. But then again, nobody was really talking about Dak Prescott last year at this time either.
And that's another thing with the Buffalo Bills where that comes in handy. I asked this on Twitter on I believe it was Monday night. I said, what separates the Buffalo Bills organization from everyone else? Where you've got the Bills who drafted Terrell Troop over Rob Gronkowski, or the Bills who drafted Aaron Williams over Russell Wilson, or the Buffalo Bills who could have picked Dak Prescott but chose somebody else. Mm-hmm. What's the problem here?
Well, I mean, that same could be said.
It's an organizational philosophy where they're looking at players, and like with Rob Gronkowski, they didn't want to take a shot on Rob Gronkowski because they thought he had a bad back. Well, yeah, it's turned out his back is pretty bad, but you know what? In the process of getting to that bad back, he's become one of the greatest tight ends we've ever seen.
Right. Yes, and I agree. But I mean, the same for that could also be said about 31 other professional football teams too.
Absolutely, that's where you get on the slippery slope, which is why I don't try to bring it up too often. But then again, you continually see this happening with the Buffalo Bills, where they'll go safe on picks. They won't say, "Let's take a shot on this guy," because if it works out, we look like geniuses. If it doesn't, it's just another player we lost. They are more comfortable taking the safe route out, and it's not always the best. Which is why you see teams like Seattle who went from being irrelevant to one of the greatest teams in the National Football League right now because they were willing to take a shot. Okay. Or the Patriots willing to take a shot on Gronkowski. Or the Cowboys identifying their man and saying, "No, we want Dak Prescott," and they take Dak Prescott. And sometimes you just have to be. You got to take the chance to be lucky because luck doesn't create itself. You have to take the opportunity. You got to take the risk to then have the luck come your way. And I just feel like the Buffalo Bills don't take those risks. And you know what? Maybe they get burned.
True.
I mean, they took a risk. They took a risk on Tyrod Taylor. Hasn't worked out so well. But then again, they also took a risk on LaShawn McCoy and traded LaShawn McCoy for Kiko Alonso after Alonso became pretty much a god in Buffalo. Mm-hmm. And it worked out pretty well for them. So you know what? I mean, Doug Whaley hasn't done a ton to instill confidence. With that's strange. Something just fell in my apartment. It sounded like it was pushed. That's weird. Anyways, right. I'm not going to focus on that because I'm not going to freak myself out. But Doug Whaley has made some good moves. I mean, he picked up Jerry Hughes in a trade, a 1-for-1 trade, and that turned out pretty well. Same with LaShawn McCoy. But then again, he's made some other bonehead moves. He hasn't really put the Bills in an option to have a lot of homegrown depth, which we've seen has been very important throughout the National Football League. So again, it's something where there's good and there's bad, but you need some continuity in the organization. And if the continuity is going to be at GM, I'm cool with that.
All right, very good. Ryan, 30 seconds left here. Give BLTDsports.com some love here.
You're gonna let me do this now. It's I'm on Twitter, Ryan Wolfe at Wolfe BLTD. You can follow BLTD Sports at BLTD Sports, at BLTD Music as well. We're not doing too much of that right now, but we're still working on it. It's a growing brand. Check out BLTDsports.com, Facebook.com/BLTD Sports. We should have me and Lewis get back behind the microphone here. I'm thinking in the next week or so, we're going to be doing our NFL playoff preview, so keep an eye out for that. And, John, I want to say, as always, I appreciate you having me.
Hey, man, it was a pleasure talking to you. It's always a pleasure talking to you. And I will say this on air, and I haven't, and I've told you this in private, but everybody should know how important of a role you've played in the growth in GERE Network. So it brings me pride to see how well BLTD is growing, despite the fact that I don't quite understand the music portion of it yet. But you like Conway. I can't even say his name. That Kanye, that dumbass. But and I'm more old school. But no,
we go all over the map. I'll tell you what. You want something to listen to right now? I'm not sure if you have, but I'll give you a little tip here. If you like old school R&B and some hip hop, go listen to Childish Gambino's new album. Go listen to that new record. I think you'll like it a lot.
Childish Gambino?
Yeah, it's Childish Gambino is his new album.
Okay.
It's Donald Glover, the comedian and actor.
Uh-huh.
He's also a rapper.
Oh, all right.
Check it out. Let me know what you think.
I'll throw it on my Apple Music, man. But anyways, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you what you've done for GERE Network thus far and building your brand. And we definitely look forward to having BLTD back within a week or two or whatever. Whenever you and Lewis get together and throw it on, hey, you got a home here. So
exactly. I appreciate you guys.
All right, appreciate it, Ryan. Thanks for calling.
Thanks for having me, man.
Hey everyone, John Cimino here for the GERE Radio Network, and you have asked and asked repeatedly, what is up with the app? We know you have one, and you never push it, you never do anything with it. Well, guess what? We got a better one, and it is free, it is absolutely available for you, and there's so much more you can do with it. Visit GereNetwork.com and click Get the App. It's up on the top banner, or if you're feeling really brave, head to GereNetwork.mobapp.at on your mobile phone and your mobile phone's browser, and you can take GERE Network with you wherever you go. Listen to every show on the GERE Network right from the app. You can view all of our social networks in real time. You can read GERE Network and BLTDsports.com blogs in real time, and you can also shop Amazon and help us out and help you out. It is free. Did I mention that? Again, GereNetwork.com or GereNetwork.mobapp.at. Download it right now. All right, we're back. You know what? I realized that I didn't mention at all during the first or the second segment, Brandon? The goddamn Cleveland Browns won a game.
I thought we were going to talk about that.
Ah, man. Football season officially ended for me with that. Thank you, San Diego. You might as well just move to Los Angeles right now.
As in Ron Burgundy said.
Yeah.
Go f*** yourself, San Diego.
Oh, damn it, Brandon. you and that phrase today.
I love that F-bomb.
Oh, man.
I heard there was a certain listener that loves profanity. China?
China. Yeah. She passed away earlier this year.
Is a good word in China.
GERE Network Pick'em, ladies and gentlemen. I'm beating Brandon the belligerent a-hole over here. Week 16, I went 10-6. He went 9-7. That brings the season total. Hello, microphone. 152-88 for me. 145-95 for him. He is 7 games back. Spoiler alert: we disagree on 3 games this week. It don't matter. I'm the champion every week. I'm the champion every season. My baby. Let me put on Dusty Rhodes' voice here. Let me tell you, baby. American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. I am the champion every week and every season, daddy. All right.
How'd you do in fantasy, by the way?
Dog shit. Okay.
You Cleveland Browned it. You got 1 win.
I did. And I think it was against Wisher, but I certainly didn't take home any money. I didn't take home anything.
I won some bucks. I'm excited.
Yes. Oh crap! You know what? I forgot to bring it. Oh no! I gotta wait for the transfer to happen.
That's
anyways.
fine. You can PayPal me. Yeah.
You will. You shall have it next week.
I'm all right.
All right. Okay, so the NFC playoff picture, Brandon. We have currently right now clinched for the playoffs. The Dallas Cowboys, the Dirty Birds at 1-2. The Seattle Seahawks at 3. They have clinched. The New York Giants at the number 5 seed have clinched. And the number 4 seed and 6 seed are the Green Bay Packers, who hold the lead for the division at 9-6, tied with the Detroit Lions at 9-6, headed into this big Sunday night matchup for the division, quite possibly for a playoff spot. Now,
that'll be decided in the beginning of the day. If Washington loses, and I believe
Tampa.
Tampa's somehow still alive.
Tampa and Washington are still alive, and everybody else is eliminated. But this is a huge one.
Yeah.
A huge one, because it's a home playoff game. And they're in the Dome, am I correct?
Oh,
They're at
Detroit. It's going to be nice and cozy. Rodgers is going to have complete control of that ball. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's going to be.
So we both have the Packers on that one. I've got that as the game to watch. There's no bowling for me that
prime time.
No bowling for me that week because it's New Year's Day.
Hangover.
Right. Yes.
Should be recovered by then.
Oh, I'll be ready to drink more because I'll have the next day off too. So
me too,
buddy. So I will be watching that game. I'll turn on the surround sound and get all into it and pretend that I don't hate football for one game.
Yeah.
So
Browns.
No, Browns. Damn you, San Diego.
Chargers.
So that's
why you're moving to Los Angeles.
That is true. That is true.
You don't deserve a team.
That is true. So with that. Some other, I don't want to say breaking news, but some funny news.
The Chargers are moving because I knew they were going to lose to the Browns, and then everyone's mad at them, and they're like, "How do you lose to the Browns?" And be like, "Hey, Wasn't me. we don't know who San Diego Chargers are. We're the LA Chargers.
That's right.
No idea who those San Diego guys are.
That music is not going. That music's going to. You know what? We didn't have music coming in this time.
Should have been Steamboat Willie.
The power of editing. I'm putting that in as we come in.
Yeah, good.
Steamboat Willie. But
that was Steamboat Willie you just heard there from the old Mickey Mouse cartoon.
Brandon, Reggie Bush could finish the season with negative yards. Did you see that?
Oh, -3. Oh.
-3 yards.
They got to hand it to him until he gets that and then just carry him off the field on their shoulders.
If there is any...
And he didn't do it.
If there's any defense that he could get 6 yards to make it +3, it's the Jets defense.
Yeah.
So I expect to see
going to get some carries.
I expect to see that, but
I don't think they're going to be running McCoy very much out there.
No, I can't imagine. If they're sitting Tyrod, why would they?
Yeah,
why would they at this point? What's the point?
Oh, come on, Reggie, you can do it.
But
do it, Reggae.
Now, next week will be the first podcast of the new year.
Yeah,
it will also be
playoff podcast.
Podcast. NFL Black Monday will have happened. I don't know if we should.
How's it gotta be Black Monday?
Hey, man, my eyes don't see color.
Piece of bone dick crumpled up here in the field. Eddie Murphy.
You have gone completely off the rails, man.
Rails today, man.
Off the friggin' rails, man.
Good news and good mood to cheer it up.
Yeah.
It's a rough day.
Well, yeah, it has been very rough for the both of us, as we kind of hinted to earlier in the podcast. I'm not going to get all into it, but yeah. So hopefully we took your mind off of life as it was, and
I can say the F word again if you'd really like.
Whatever. I already got to censor 2 more.
I'll save it.
Just say it, Brandon.
It's a wild card.
What, for the playoffs?
It'll be a wild card. You just won't know when it comes out. It's just gonna pop out of nowhere when you least expect it. It's no good.
I just had to get mine in there.
All right.
That's all. That's all I wanted to do. Brandon.
Yes.
End of the year, my man.
What?
Any reflections? Any? What do you
see?
How is this year to you? I guess I don't know. I'm ready for it to end.
Personally, life has been pretty good this entire year. Healthy. That's a start. Got a good job. That also helps. Mm-hmm. Good family. Girlfriend, kids. Mm-hmm. Pretty good.
Hi, Hannah.
And so we got that going for me. Outside of that, huge chunk of my childhood just like kind of ripped right out. Prince, David Bowie, Carrie Fisher. You just name it, man. Just guy after guy. Just see ya.
Ali.
Alan Rickman.
Alan Thicke.
I know he was America's dad,
right?
Dude, there was a weeping boner somewhere in America.
Did you see that? Did you see that somebody posted up a GoFundMe in an effort to raise up enough money to
hide Betty White?
To hide Betty White, yeah.
Oh, that'd be so terrible. The ball counts down. She drops dead at 11:59.
There goes your wild card.
You're welcome.
You better knock on wood right now for that, man. I cannot lose Betty White this year.
No. So, but yeah, it's been good. Looking forward to 2017. Not so much for that orange toupee baboon elect that we've got coming in.
Yep.
Who's thanking himself. He's on his thank you tour. He's giving himself hand jibbers.
Those that follow me on Twitter know that I'm very much a part of the resistance. And if you...
Christmas spending was up in October. A record high. Thanks, Donald. Yeah, okay. I'm punch that guy in the face. There's another one.
I can't stand him.
Another one.
See, we're getting all angry up on here now.
Yeah, that's not. The year was good.
The year
is good. End of the year is good.
Good.
Looking good in 2017. What about you?
Good. A year of growth, continued growth. I think for me, for my network, huh?
Penis growth.
Sure.
Oh, proud of you.
Finally getting there, and
you hang in there, slugger. It'll get there someday.
Your growth personally, with school and just kind of
how much time you got left on that?
Just a little over 15 months.
That's good, man.
So it seems like it's far away, but it's really not.
No, it'll come by quickly.
So, I'm doing that.
Like 18 more podcasts.
What's that?
That's only like 18 more podcasts.
18 more. Well, I don't know. I mean, I do other podcasts besides this too.
Our podcast.
But our podcast, yes.
Yeah.
We got that, got the network growth going on, and got a good team of other podcasters on there pumping out content. The guys from Misguided Musings and Turnbuckle Talk.
Lewis.
Perez and Ryan will be back, as Ryan alluded to in the phone call earlier. That they'll be back, I believe, the first or second week of the year with a podcast.
It's going to be called Better Live Than Dead ?
Episode 96, 7?
Better Live Than Dead?
You guys are being good sports about it.
Yep.
I appreciate it. But I'm over 2016 because of a lot of, like you said, the childhood things. Just kind of like one thing after another. Some personal situations that have happened throughout the year. I'm just kind of ready to move on to 2017 because I'm anticipating that being a good year.
Yeah.
For me personally and for my family personally. So,
that new big shiny boner you got there.
ready for it. So
that's good.
That's about it.
Oh, and we got something else in the works.
Yes.
Well, that's good.
Yes. Something else in the works, which may or may not be discussed within.
Yeah.
I'd say by the Super Bowl, we should probably have something.
We'll have a super announcement.
Maybe.
During Media Week. We'll interview you.
On NFL Network?
Yeah. I'll pretend I'm Brian Baldinger.
There you go. As long as you do his voice.
So someone can go back to, hey, Baldy. And like, hey. Got a question for you.
All right, that
should be a permanent sound effect that we have in there.
Well, I can record it. I can
cover my F-bombs with,
I'll figure out a way to do that. But all right, we're gonna end it. We're gonna end the podcast on that note, And thank you all for tuning in to Brandon's F-Bomb Central here. Again, thanks for all the hits. Thanks for listening in all year through multiple podcasts. Whether you listen to Get Ready America, Talking Wrestling, Misguided Musings, BLTD, Turnbuckle Talk, the JC Money Show, or this one. I mean, thank you all very much for all the hits, all the feedback, and using shopgear.com as you have, which has kept us alive for this year, and will keep us going for the next. So, Brandon, UFC on Friday.
Yeah, buddy.
Let's do it.
Ron's gonna rip her head off,
and let us rejoin in the new year for another episode of Football Talk Weekly. Shall we?
We shall.
All right. Good day to you, sir.
Good day to you.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Keep fighting, Bretsky.
Good night now. Well said.
Remember to see more National Football League action next week.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the GERE Network.